Hey everybody, I hope you're doing well. I'm Afefe with Touched by Tarot, and I'm here to do a pick a card for you all today on your love language. What it is that you need to know, how it's operating in your life right now, how you can get a better understanding and go a little deeper on your love language. And was prompted to do this pick a card for you by Spirit because right now, you all, Venus is in Gemini. Venus went into Gemini on April 10th. And I'm filming this on April 14, and it stays there until May the 7th. So when we think about Venus, the planet of love, right? But also the planet of money, abundance, the planet of art and beauty, all those things that make life really, really joyful. And it is joined up with Gemini right now, ruled by Mercury. And in the system of tarot, it is represented by the Lovers card in the major arcana. So thinking about the lovers, the divine twins, the duality that we experience when we're dealing with our love language, the idea that we don't have to be, boxed in, that we're meant to be curious, that we're meant to be exploratory, that we're meant to talk more about it, to discover more, to learn more, to use our intellect in the ways that Mercury and Gemini is so astute in, right? So when you combine love with the planet of expression and intellect and speech and thought, and writing, journaling. Some of you may really be feeling called to journal your feelings at around this time. But that's what this pick a card is going to be about. We're gone to Spirit. You know my system. I just got finished cleansing the decks and everything is spread in front of me. And then I'm going to show you your stones and you'll pick a pile. You may be drawn to more than one, but the focus and intent is to get more clarity for you around your love language, okay? What you need to know about your love language at this time. So let me get these decks together and show you the stones, and then you can get ready to see what you feel called to. I love doing the pick a cards because it really gets you involved in the process. It allows, your higher self, your soul, your spirit guides, your team to ping you and say, hey, go for that one. We've got a message for you right there. All right. So I've got the 4 stacks. For pile number 1, it's going to be this opalite. All right. That's pile number 1, the opalite. Pile number 2, I was drawn to this ruby pendant. It's got a little crown on the top. All right, that's pile number 2. Pile number 3 is this lovely sunstone. Okay, that's pile number 3, the sunstone. All those sparkles in it. And pile number 4, I was just drawn to this, the 4-leaf clover, right? If you're feeling a little luck, or maybe need a little luck, right? We can all use a little luck in that. So, okay, so that's pile number 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so I'm going to go in on pile number 1. Put these others to the side. All right, you all. So pile number 1, those of you who chose the opalite, let's see what we have here. We've got the star. Amazing, amazing. We've got the magician. Whoa, you're coming in strong. Magician also ruled by Mercury. So there we have it. Gemini. Oh, and Aquarius. Loving it. Some of you may be Aquarius, sun, moon, or rising. Gemini, sun, moon, or rising. We've got independence. Ooh, that's a very Aquarian energy. And then we've got apology, relax, and then I've got a gift. I'll go into that in a moment. I've got a gift that you have that your spirit team wants you to know you have related to your love language, a gift that you need to be aware of, and then an herb that will help you and a gemstone that will help you. We'll get to those in a moment. So first and foremost, you all, if you chose this pile, you are in a very powerful position right now of creating something more around how you express your love life. Because remember, you all, the star is about not just hope, but it is also about understanding and being very clear of what you're hoping for. It's having done the studies, it's having read the books, it's having developed and healed yourself and dealt with, doing the inner work to get you to a place where in your love life, you know what it is that you want to call in with that magician card, because that's what the magician does with Mercury. It uses the voice, the thought, the intellect. It uses the thought processes, conversations, what it knows that is possible to bring to bear. It is the ultimate card where you are co-creating with the universe using all the resources around you. In elemental terms, the magician always has, earth, air, fire, and water. So it's using your emotions, your practical, your practical material concerns with earth. It's using the intellect, obviously, with air, and it's using fire, the fire of passion, to create, to have that desire, because the universe very often responds to those things that we most deeply desire, but that are also in our greater good. All right. So that's your love language right now. Is you have it, you're using it, and it is evolving. It is in the process of evolving into something more. You've done a lot of study in this area. You've definitely spent a lot of time developing your gifts around what you are saying. You are very conscious of your thoughts relating to love, relating to how you express love, and how you feel like you deserve it. And what's really interesting is you've got this independence card, which says freedom and self-reliance, okay? Or lacking in shadow aspect, lacking courage to make decisions. That's not your situation here. I'm going to go with the freedom and self-reliance, especially because with that independence, it really pings me with that star card that we got here, you all. Because the star, remember, ruled by Aquarius, or closely aligned with Aquarius, which is a very independent, thought forward, progressive thinking sign. You may even be, if you were attracted to this pile, your love language is one where you definitely do not fit inside of a box, you all. You definitely are about having the freedom and the wherewithal to decide for yourself what love looks like for you, how it feels for you, how you want it to show up in your life. And you are being very, very proactive, which is awesome, because this is not sitting back and resting on your laurels and just like saying a prayer and hoping that God, that spirit comes through for you. It's about saying, this is what I want. And these are the things that I know I need to do to get it, whether it is actively, doing things that help you heal from the past, whether it's actively visualizing what kind of love you want in your life. And this is not just, I should say, it's not just romantic love, although I'm feeling that very strongly because of Venus's input, but it does have to do with doing what you love, loving your life, being in love with life, okay? You do have apology, which is a very interesting card to show up for you in this stack. I think here it is saying some of you could believe at this point that you are owed an apology from someone based on a wrong. And here I'm feeling, especially, it is more than just your love life. This could very well be, if you are involved, say you've been in business, you've been in a career where you have not been treated fairly, where you have been disappointed by those you've worked with, those you've partnered with. That apology comes into play there, because it does have to do with, expressing your love language is being able to express yourself professionally in the way that gives you that fullness and that satisfaction. And if someone got in the way of that, there's that apology that you feel you deserve. I don't think this is on you. I'm being honest. If it was, I'd call it that way. I don't think this is on you. I think this is something that you feel like you deserve. And that's part of why you've done this work, to elevate yourself and to keep yourself moving forward with that star. To keep yourself, I know that this wasn't right, but I'm not going to let it slow me down, because that independence is saying, I've trained myself how to trust my own judgment. Okay, beautiful job for you all. And then you got relaxed with that lavender. So what, in terms of how you move forward in your desires, in calling in what it is that you want right now at this time of your life, and using your elevated love language that you've learned to do it. Spirit is saying, relax, you've got it. You know, you've definitely reached a milestone in your love language, in your understanding of it. So that what you are going to do and what you are doing right now, whether or not you see it, pile number one, it is in motion and it is having an impact. And you are being, Spirit wants you to continue to be proactive, but not tense up. Relax as you do it. The calmer you get, it's almost like the clearer the channel becomes between you and Spirit. All right. I want to look at a particular gift that you have related to your love language at this time. And it says uninhibited. You are, oh, you are unbridled erotic energy in its purest, tantalizing form. All right, pile number one. You have the ability to help others release sexual fears and be more authentic in their sexual expression. That's really powerful. Let me hold that up there for you. So not only have you done the work, but you have the ability. I'm sorry for that little ring light there. Let me put, there it is. That's better. You have the ability to help others based on the knowledge that you've gained. It could also be why you've got that magician energy sitting there. All right. And the star, because you've learned a lot about what, even though this card is definitely leaning more into the gift of the erotic, being able to express and accept it in a healthy way. I also think that's why you got that ties into the independence card there, because there's this notion of, you don't accept the idea that Venus is, the energy of Venus around his physical love, around sexual love, is somehow taboo, is somehow, beyond what is normal, or beyond what is acceptable, or beyond, we're taught that either, if we allow ourselves to embrace physical passion, that it can, put us over into the danger zone. And surely anything to excess, anything, when you are dealing with people who are not healthy for you, yeah, it can take you over into that realm. But for you all, pile number one, it is understanding that for you, it's a power, it's a gift, and you have a very free spirit in that realm. Now, a herb that will help you is blue lotus, intuition. I just bought some blue lotus oil not long ago and added it to a fragrance mix. I was really drawn to that. So if you're not familiar with it, you may want to look that up, Google it, blue lotus, all right? But intuition, this is knowing how. It's one thing to have a gift, you all, but it's another thing to know how and when to apply it. And that's so, especially if you are actively calling things in, if you are actively, if you are in the dating scene, or if you already have a partner, a loved one. And, of course, when you have a relationship, you have to continue to build it. You have to continue to do what's necessary to let it thrive. If you are looking for love, and expressing that, this is all about your love language. It is making sure that you use your intuition to allow yourself to tap into your natural gifts, because you definitely have natural gifts. In the past, it may have come to bite you a little bit because of that apology that's due you, where people did not appreciate what you were bringing to the table. But Spirit is saying, remember your relaxed message over here. Spirit is saying, don't even stress about that anymore, because that part of your life is over. You've definitely moved beyond it, and you are attracting something more into your life at this time. And the way to improve that, of course, is your intuition, and Blue Lotus will help you. Take a, again, if you don't know a lot about Blue Lotus, definitely it's worth looking it up for you. All right. And your stone your crystal that'll help you right now is lepidolite, which comes, interestingly enough, in this deck. It gives you not only the crystal, but it shows you where in the chakra system that crystal applies. And notice that crystal is coming in your throat chakra. Your throat chakra, the magician, what you are calling into existence, right? What you are speaking and visualizing. As you visualize it, you speak it into existence. So your throat chakra, let me hold that up closely so you can write it down if you need to. Lepidolite, all right? that crystal will do a world of good for you right now. And if you don't have the crystal itself, you can even like go on Pinterest or Google it and just pull up images of it, save an image of it on your phone, and you know, meditate with it, that sort of thing. Okay. So that's it, you all. You are pile number one. Your love language is definitely verbal. It is definitely the ability to use your magic to call things into existence. Your love language is definitely about having your intellect stimulated as well as your physical body. The intellect leads to the physical body. Your body responds to what your brain is saying, and what is said to you. You are particularly sensitive to what is said to you and how you express things. Speech and being able to really communicate with others is your love language. It is crucial to you being able to open up your heart space and also being accepted for who you are because of that Aquarian energy that I'm looking at here with the star and independence. You need to be around people. Your love language is being able to express yourself for who you are without judgment. And that could also be why you feel you're due an apology, because you have been judged before. When you have shown up as your authentic self, sometimes it may not have gone your way, and you were judged, or you were rejected, and somehow you were betrayed, and somehow not supported, and that's that apology. But I go back to relax there. Spirit is like, don't even stress it, because you're too busy moving forward. And what you have, that independent streak that you have, and that natural sensuality that you have, is actually a healing gift, and you should embrace it. Use your intuition in terms of learning more about it and how to get that vision to go forward for you. But once you do that, this Venus and Gemini transit can really, really work to advance you like leaps and bounds, pile number one. Okay? That's amazing. That is amazing. Let me know if you were drawn to that pile. I would love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear how that pinged you and what you've got going on at this time. Okay? All right, so having said that, we're going to move on now to pile number two. Those of you who were drawn to that ruby crystal with that crown on top, that crest on top. All right, let's see what's happening for you all. Ooh, we have the Ace of Pentacles with the Queen of Wands. Oh, look at you. Confidently building something, rebuilding something, planting new seeds. We have Faceless, searching for your own identity. That's that new how you're showing up in the world. And your love language has been a quest. It's been a quest to become more confident in who you are. Redemption. Yes, you have been on a journey. You have been on quite the journey, pile number two. And excitement is coming your way because of it. I love it. Here is a natural gift that you have. I'll get to that in a moment, with an herb that will help you during this time and a crystal that will help you at this time. I'll get into those at the end. So let's go back to your major cards here. Interesting combination. The work that you are putting in right now to remain steadfast in your pursuit of love, whether that is romantic love, loving what you do in a career, finding hobbies, things that engage your heart, things that you can express your love language through. For you, I think a lot of you, it is through material things. So your love language could be through giving gifts. It could be through being exposed to like flowers and plants and botanical gardens and perfumes and candles and tangible things that you can connect with and relate to. Those are things that really, definitely get your fires going. The Queen of Wands. But this is something that you need to feel passionate. When you are passionate, it definitely, when you get stirred up about something, when you get excited about something, it makes things move around you. It makes the people around you respond. It makes, you might notice the birds start singing a little louder, the bees start humming around you. Like, you definitely, the way you operate in the physical realm through your confidence is what really gets things going for you. That is your love language. You are a doer. Some people are more laid back, and they like to think about things and visualize things. And that's not to say you don't do that, but you are someone who does something about what you want. If you see something, if you have a desire, a goal, you don't hesitate to get up and do something about it. Notice her with that, beautiful toned body, but she's earned it. She's in the gym lifting those weights. You have earned this opportunity to build new growth, to have your love language and your love life and the things that you love blossom. Okay, now the faceless part is, it says here, searching for your own identity or difficulty understanding and relating to others. I think this is something that you have had to overcome, pile number 2. This is a journey that you've been on. That's how you became confident, because you had to go on that search. Because if others did not speak your same love language, for instance, I see you very tied to physical things. So again, I think your love language may have a lot to do with gifts and giving, and not just, go buy something, but I mean, creating something, even a craft where you create a picture frame for someone, for example, or it is something tactile. Those things that you can hold in your hand are very, they're very important to you. It is how you demonstrate love even. And sometimes people did not appreciate that for what it was. And it put you on a search to say, hey, am I really, is it okay for me to show up this way in my own life? Is it okay for me to continue to want these things, to desire these things, to want to be, engaged with the world in tangible ways? Is there something wrong if I appreciate gifts and gift giving? That doesn't mean I'm materialistic. It means that for me, having something I can refer to, something that I can treasure, something that I can hold on to, that matters to me. But that's been a process that you've had to go through to get to that point where you understood that about yourself. And that is where that redemption comes in for you. Because there is a part of you, I think, that at some point, pile number 2, you believed the hype. You believed other people's opinions over your own. At times you may have begun to doubt yourself and how you were going about expressing love in the world based on what was being reflected back to you. But there's that redemption, and there's a process that you've gone through. And I love that there's that water behind her, because it's like a cleansing even. There's a process that you have gone through, pile number 2, to get to a point where you had to go and build your muscle. Going back to this card here, I love this Queen of Wands depiction, because you have had to literally get in the gym of life, get in the gym of your soul, your determination, your knowing of trusting your own instincts and showing up in the world the way you know authentically is you. And that's what redeemed you. And as a result, this particular Venus in Gemini transit is bringing you excitement and fireworks. Notice more fire. Queen of Wands. Now, some of you could be Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, not sun, moon, or rising. Okay, you could actually be a fire sign. But there's more fire around you with that excitement. Things are literally popping off. And I also feel like, because in a timing element, it could be that you'll see, while the Venus in Gemini transit ends on May the 7th, but it could be that you see, as the summer progresses, more excitement that comes into your life because of this muscle that you've built around, meaning spiritual muscle as well as physical muscle. It could be that you're taking even better care of yourself, that you are, in terms of expressing your love language. Our bodies are tangible, that earth element. Our bodies and the way that we treat our bodies, our diet, exercise, meditation, the way that we do our breathing practices, looking in the mirror and remembering to reflect back to yourself love. Those are all lessons that you are learning, pile number 2. Okay, and that's what this Venus, that's your love language, that Venus in Gemini is highlighting for you, is to give yourself permission. And that self-talk, treat yourself to something, tangible. Treat yourself to a massage. Treat yourself to, whatever it is, those flowers. I'm looking at this, the beautiful flowers on the background of that pentacle there. Treat yourself to the flowers, the plant, the things that you can hold on to and that make you feel really good. A gift that will help you during this time and to help you strengthen your love language is clairaudience. You have the gift of receiving intuitive messages from spirit. It may sound as if it's right next to you inside your head, or echoing from another dimension. Wow. So you're going to hear things. You have the ability to hear things, and that fosters your love language. You can hear how spirit loves you, how your spirit team loves you, how your higher self loves you. You can tune in and actually hear messages that are meant for you and get downloads, pile number 2, that are related to love specifically. Okay? Remember that you actually have a gift of clairaudience. You can hear things around you, you receive it. Also, pay attention to the music that you're listening to, anything that comes into you through hearing. All right, that's something that can definitely boost your love language if you apply it, if you allow yourself to apply it intuitively. What is this? Shazandra? I'm not familiar with this, you all. Let me hold it up for you. It says grace is the key word. This is an herb that will help you during this time. Okay? But the key word there is grace, and I'm looking at those swans. There is grace that is being extended to you during this time, during this Venus in Gemini transit, pile number 2. And I think that grace is again because if you were misunderstood, it's saying give yourself grace. That's the hearing. That's why what you hear is important, because in the past, something that you've heard made you doubt yourself. And that's what sent you on that search and that quest for redemption. You had to redeem your own sensibility about who you are and your entitlement to being able to love life and show up in the world as you choose. This is something that when we get judged, sometimes we step back from it. But this is a very exciting time for you, because you are giving yourself the grace, and that redemption was tied into that grace. You are learning to be more gentle with yourself, more non-judgmental with yourself. Your stone is the crystal that will help you at this time is black tourmaline. I got a great big chunk of it sitting over here by me, by the way. I love black tourmaline. And it's the ultimate negativity blaster. And it's what's beautiful about black tourmaline, you all, is not only does it block negativity around you, but within you. And with that redemption, the grace, some of this other work that you've had to do on yourself, I think pile number 2, that's a big thing for your love language at this time, is sort of the rebuilding that you've had to do. And what spirit wants to do is whisper in your ear, whisper, not sweet nothings, but sweet somethings in your ear. This black tourmaline is going to help you stay grounded while you're in that process. And notice in this deck, it gives you the chakra that it comes to. That is your solar plexus chakra. That is fiery. Queen of Wands, excitement. You got a lot of fire happening here. All right. So your solar plexus, which has to do with confidence, your sense of self-worth, your sense of value, how you can really appreciate yourself. I'm even seeing her t-shirt has that lion heart there, and you were drawn to this crystal with that heart-shaped crystal in the red color. There is a lot of passion available to you, pile number 2. A lot of passion available to you. And your key to it, your love language at this time, is to continue to give yourself grace, to continue to foster your own sense of self-worth, continue to build your body, your physical body, as well as the things that you desire in tangible form around you. Okay? Woo! That was a goodie. That was really, really good, really powerful. And I wish you well as you continue on your journey to discovering yourself and empowering yourself. I'd love to hear your comments, pile number 2, those of you who were drawn to that, okay? Moving on to pile number 3, those who were drawn to the Sunstone. Let's see what comes here. Ooh, King of Wands. Let's bring it, why don't we? With the 4 of Wands. Okay. Your love language is extremely passionate. extremely decisive, extremely committed. You are no joke when it comes to what you decide you love. Romantically, for sure, but also anything that you commit yourself to, pile number 3, you do so with all the force of your being. You bring everything to the table. We have a butterfly painting, creativity, intuition, and rebirth. Yes. There is a process that you've gone through or are going through in this transit that's bringing you to higher heights in terms of expressing your commitment and being able to celebrate what you've done. A karmic partner shows up for you. That's really interesting. Either you already are in a relationship, many of you who chose this pile, and you feel like that person you're with came to you. You guys were drawn to each other because of a karmic partnership, that you've known each other in past lifetimes, or that in this lifetime you've been brought together, not just for, romantic reasons or relationship reasons, but life lessons. There's a lot of life lessons that occur with you and this person. We have springtime here, so this is in the here and now. Spirit is speaking very strongly in terms of the way you are expressing love and your love language, especially during this transit of Venus in Gemini from April through the early part of May. Springtime is definitely a time of reckoning for you to understand how you are willing to commit to this partnership. That is really powerful. This is a gift that you have, a herb that will help you, and a crystal that will help you. I'll get to those in a moment. I want to go back here. Some of you are at a point in a relationship, or in terms of deciding if you want to have a relationship, what it needs to look like. In basic terms, like, are you someone who really wants to live with someone, to marry someone? Do you require marriage? Do you require, the legalities of marriage? Or is it more about searching for someone who gives you commitment, the values that you need in your love language, in your love life, as opposed to what society says, putting labels on it and that sort of thing? And it could very well be that this karmic partner is someone who teaches you how to make the decisions about what's best for you, about not allowing society to determine what a marriage is, what commitment is, what movement is. The Four of Wands is that card very often that indicates marriage. It also indicates what you are genuinely, with fours, you have stability. You have the pillars of something. It could be committing to a home, and what your home life, your domestic life looks like, right? It often comes up as well when there is an actual move underfoot, a move to another job, a place where you live, etc. But it's moving from one state of existence, like a single state of existence, to a duality. I like those two coming together. Okay? But there's a lot of passion. There's a lot of desire. There's a lot of knowing how you want things to play out. And even this butterfly aspect, which is about transformation. There's this creativity, intuition, and rebirth. There's something karmically for you all, pile number 3, that is working itself out. And spring is about a rebirth as well, with those beautiful tulips that we see in the background there. During this season, your love language is being heightened by an awareness of what you have learned. And if you are involved with someone, or you're trying to attract someone to you, it's understanding the role that they need to play in your life, not just as a physical companion or a romantic companion, but a life partner. A life partner. What is life going to look like with the person who you are attracted to, or who you currently are with? Okay? Now, your gift in your love language at this time, and you got heartbreaker. Wow, you easily inspire romantic feelings in others because of your kind and sweet approach, making you a heartbreaker. That is so awesome. Your kind and sweet approach, meaning you don't, pile number 3, you may not have trouble attracting people. I think for you, what's happening is that your love language is that you are a lover naturally. You are someone who has that spark of the divine. You have that little fiery spark about you. People are drawn to you. And this is not just romantic. I don't want to limit it to that, although this reading is coming through very strongly in that connection because of the karmic partner. But even in terms of business, you could be someone who just lights up a room. People are drawn to you. And so it's heartbreaker, not because you're out there breaking hearts, but the notion that you're someone who people really, people are drawn to you, naturally drawn to you. And your love language at this time, you have psilocybin. I don't know what it is, but it's got mushrooms around it. I wonder if this is something psychedelic. I am not recommending that for anybody. But this particular deck does include it, and it says a commune. I think what this is really pointing to is this herb, in terms of what it represents spiritually and psychologically, is a commune, meaning being around people, being around like-minded people, being around finding your tribe. See this little, let's make sure you can see a little angel in the background over there looking over everybody, right? Being more in touch with your spirit guides as well. That's also a part of this commune. Because there is a deeper lesson. Your love language, wow, this is really deep, you all. Your love language is meant to teach you the deeper meanings of what love truly is. Not the labels that have been slapped on it, not just the walks in the park and the candlelit dinners and all of that. Beautiful. Don't we all want it? But for you all, there's this deeper journey that's happened. Because for you, again, I said going in, as soon as I laid these two cards down in your pile, you're an all or nothing kind of person. You don't do gray areas. You don't do, halfway into something, halfway out, dibble dabble. You want something that you can completely invest in, completely bring all of yourself to, completely allow yourself your natural heartbreaking tendencies. I love that. The parts of you that are kind and sweet and want to express love, want to live it. The parts of you that would be very cool in a commune in terms of being, that ties into being someone who attracts people. People are naturally attracted to you, attracted to your vibe. And that's something that your love language depends on. That it is how you express love. You want to hug people, you want to laugh with people, you want to show up and understand naturally, spread your love is coming to me as well. All right. And you have, instead of a crystal, you got a planet. You got the planet Uranus, which comes in the throat chakra. I want to show that to you closer. All right. So pile number 3, it is definitely with that throat chakra showing up and the planet Uranus showing up. It is about your freedom. That's that commune, being around like-minded people. That's also that butterfly painting where you are becoming, part of your journey at this time in your love language has to do with speaking, throat chakra, speaking your passions to people who understand it. And more so, if you are in a partnership that is not feeling particularly lovey at this point, when your love language is not being heard, right? Or not being translated properly, then that's the energy that's coming forward in this Venus and Gemini transit for you, is to learn how to speak what you want with more passion because of its long-term potential. How you do things has karmic potential. It has long-term potential. And therefore, the people that you allow to have with you, the people who come into your space and share more with you, that is also, that's how your love life shapes up and filters out, because it's not just what you are doing and what you're bringing to the table, but it's also recognizing that for all of that, there's somebody else. It impacts someone else. What you do, what you say impacts someone else, and of course, vice versa. And this springtime is there's something around that where you need to be on the lookout for, if you don't have that karmic partner already, I would say be on the lookout for them. If it does come to you in a business context because you are doing what you love, you know, you're operating in some business, some endeavor that you really love, and it's giving you all the feels, then pay attention to your business partners as well. All right. I do want to pull a little bit more for you. Just one more card around. You got the Empress. Don't you love it? Talk about springtime. And talk about Venus. Who rules the Empress? The moon as well, but certainly Venus. The moon and Venus. Wow. This is your ability to grow. It is your ability to grow in partnership, in relationship to someone, but not just because of the lovey-dovey aspects of it, but because of the long-term commitment aspects of it and how it grows your community and how it allows you to experience love coming back to you in the ways that you naturally want to give it. You are here to show love. You have a unique capacity for it. But it has to stick. There has to be glue. It has to be leading somewhere. You're not a serial dater. You're not somebody that's just going to have a string of lovers hanging out there. You're somebody that wants this, that it needs to be solid. It needs to grow into something. And it's very important for you that there are life lessons involved in what you say. That throat chakra again, Uranus, how you change. You may have had sudden changes in your love life, in how you have been able and positioned to express love, pile number 3, because Uranus can give you those sudden changes. But what that did for you, rather than make you feel completely thrown off, that butterfly, it made you rebirth. It made you shift in a way that now you're thinking, okay, now with those changes and not being stable in that, stability is everything for me. That foundational, that forward commitment is everything to me. I want somebody, if I'm all in, I want somebody else to be all in. And again, strongly with relating to romantic issues, but even in business, even doing what you love, it needs to be all in. And those who are around you, the commune there, they need to be all in as well. All right, pile number 3. That was really good. It felt really good to me. I would love to hear what you have to say about it and how that pings you, how that works out for you. Okay. And finally, we have pile number 4, those who are drawn to the 4-leaf clover. Your love language during this transit, this Venus in Gemini transit. You have Temperance and the High Priestess. Ooh, that's powerful. All right, let me keep going. Family, a life partner. All right, let's talk it. Let's talk that talk, spirit. Cooking. Okay. And then there's a gift here that will help you, a natural gift that you have that will help you with expressing your love language, with an herb and a crystal. We'll close out with those 3. Put those to the side for now. Wow. I got to take a sip of my juice on this one, you all. Temperance with the High Priestess. I tell you what. You know a lot. You have an old soul. If you chose this pile, you have an old soul, and you already know a lot about, you have learned a lot about how to compromise in love, about how much of yourself and when to give of yourself in love. You're not someone who shows up and just boom, just give it all, lay it all on the line. For you, I think there's more of and this may have been something that you have had to learn over time. This may have been something more around life lessons that you've had to learn over time. I have this little piece of hair on the mat that's bugging me. There you go. I'm sorry about that. With Temperance, there's alchemy, there's healing. There's inner healing that you have had to do in relation to your family. If you chose this pile, I would say Much of what you have experienced in love so far, in your love language, in your love life so far, has had a lot to do with what you grew up around and what you were exposed to in terms of the modeling that was done for you about what love is in your family, or the lack thereof, right? Because some of us don't have, we didn't come up in that kind of environment. And so we had to create it for ourselves. But the high priestess here is with that beautiful pomegranate, is here to say, you have learned to rely on yourself, to listen to yourself, and to bring forward into the world the gifts that you are meant to bring in your relationships, in with those you love. And your love language is broader. It is not just, we'll get to that life partner in a moment, but right now I'm back here on family. Your love language is how you express it within your family unit. If you chose this pile, family is extremely important to you. The household, the family unit, your purpose, the way that your love language and how you show up for people, how you demonstrate your love for people. And then I will go to that cooking there, because this again makes me feel very domestic. Like, you are that type of person who enjoys, holidays and Sunday dinners and backyard barbecues and gathering the tribe, gathering the family around you. Now, your life partner, for some of you, if you were drawn to this, you could very well have a life partner currently. You could be married or living with someone, etc. You could have had a life partner who has transitioned. And this could also be the image, going back to the family and this healing work. It could be the image and what you are working toward, to have a life partner who really satisfies you. Cooking also is, we think about it in another way relating to food. When we eat a good meal, or we come together and we cook because it is a way to express our love. Talking about love language. When we cook, we are giving of ourselves, our time, our attention, our energy, to prepare something that someone else is going to consume, right? And so for you all, there is this beautiful kind of combination of showing up for those that you love and to offer healing. I just realized as well, in this particular temperance card where you've got this family together, look at what they're doing. They're preparing a meal, right? The domestic front for you all in pile number 4 is crucial in how you express your love language. And if you are in a domestic situation right now where you're living single, living alone, then it is important for you at this time, your love language while Venus is in Gemini is to be more social. That's it. That's the bottom line, is finding ways to be more social and express it. Invite some friends over, or go over, if you get an invitation, go to a friend's house or a social event, because there is more. For some of you, having that alone time is important. It is how you kind of regenerate yourself. But there's so much being offered here. There's this family that's cooking together. So bringing different elements together in temperance, right? Combining things together that everybody's going to enjoy. There's the pomegranate that the high priestess enjoys, right? Which is that sacred fruit, and the knowledge that you have around family, around what you need in a life partner, or how to sustain one if you currently have it. And then there's that cooking again. There's all of this beautiful Venus. Venus rules Taurus, which is that I have never met a Taurus who is not a foodie, ever. There's of all the sort of sensual things that Venus brings us, food and how we enjoy a meal, how going to restaurants or cooking, and how that signals such a way that it brings a gathering of people, and how we use those kinds of occasions to express our love for one another. Very crucial for you. Now, a gift that you have that will help amplify your love language at this time Pile number 4 is femininity. You're a mix of girlish charm and mature sensuality. You can draw them in without them even knowing. A subtle, luring effect. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. How awesome is that? That femininity, that soft side, that is highlighting that high priestess for me as well. Pile number 4. You have a natural mothering, lovering tendency. Like you exude this tenderness that people want to come to, that you have a need to give and express. And especially when I see family, I'm also thinking not in a literal sense, but also just people who matter to you, your tribe. And your femininity is something that if you are looking to date and draw in a life partner, Spirit is reminding you to rely on your femininity, to show up and be soft and be a little mysterious. That is another thing that the high priestess brings in terms of the divine feminine. She brings a mystery with her. That's why I started out your reading by saying, you're not someone who just lays it all out on the line. Well, here's everything you ever wanted to know about me. Let me tell you a little bit about myself, blah, blah, blah. Like you probably tend to show up. You show more than tell, put it that way. That's a big saying in poetry and writing communities. Show people, don't tell, with using your words. Okay, now an herb that will help you is rue. Rue is protection. I think there's tenderness, a lot of tenderness around you, pile number 4. And so that protection is coming in to say, with that rue, look at that powerful lion with that wonderful, wonderful herb all around its mane, making up its mane, actually. There's this idea here that I see a lot of passion here, and a lot of fire, but look at the extreme femininity that comes with that lioness energy, that feminine feline energy, literally feline energy, even in its wild aspect, and here in its human aspect. And look, your crystal that Spirit recommends for you is azurite, and it is ruled in the heart chakra. This particular deck shows the stone, but then it shows the area of the body that it correlates to, your heart chakra. You are really, really beautiful. Pile number 4, your soul, your calling, your love language, that's what this reading is about, is so heart focused. You love to give, and giving is a way that you receive your blessings in return. It is important for you, whatever your station in life right now, it is important to, yes, protect your heart. We all should do that. But I think Spirit is also saying, in terms of amplifying your love language or understanding it more at this time, is that you are the essence of love, and using your intuition, understanding that by not laying it all on the table, you are then protected. But also at the same time, being willing to be patient, because temperance often calls for patience. It calls for being able to consider more than one thing. And there is a lot of angelic energy around you right now, pile number 4. The angels, your angelic court, your spirit guides want you to be able to spread that love, that femininity, that essence that you walk with, that people around you naturally need, and they rely on you for it. But it is also understanding that your heart is precious, and your ability to adapt and change and be patient. If you are, this just came to me, I just saw it. If you are someone who has been longing for a life partner for a very long time, Spirit wants you to continue to remain tender, remain Remain confident and know that there is more than meets the eye. That's the words they're giving me for you. There's more than meets the eye, pile number 4, in terms of your love life. There's people who love you that you may not know it. They may not be good at saying it. They may not be so great at expressing it, but you are loved tremendously because of the way that you bring love around those you care about. It is so, they rely on you for it. It is a visceral thing that happens when you are around. Your essence, your aura is so wonderful. It is so marvelous. And yes, it does need protection at times because some people will feed off of that in a way that is not meant. But you're no joke. You're smarter than that. You've got the high priestess that comes here. You have learned or are learning to recognize that so that you will not give it all away. You will not just give everybody everything and then you're depleted. But it is also recognizing how unique and purposeful you are in that feminine energy. And if you are a male who was drawn to this, or more masculine energy, masculine identified person who was drawn to this, then it is a call to amplifying your feminine side in addition to the divine masculine. Because these two coming together, you just don't get the high priestess with this femininity gift card. You just don't get a lot more divine feminine than that. Okay? That is so on point with that. All right? So it is definitely your love language has to do with the divine feminine. It has to do with sharing your natural gifts. You want to love others. If you have a particular interest in food, if you are a foodie, or food being representative of how others around you are fed by your essence and your loving nature. That's what's happening here, okay? So that's your love language, and that's how you can utilize it more, is by tapping into it, claiming it, accepting it, being willing to share it with others, but also protecting your space, protecting that divine and essential part of you. And definitely check out that azurite. That would be a really good stone for you to check out at this particular time. Okay. All right, you all, let me know how that went for you, how that felt to you, and what happens during this time while Venus is in Gemini. Okay. All right, everybody, have a wonderful time with this energy. It is quite unique, quite important for us all, and I'd love to hear your feedback. Take really good care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.